Wait a minute. Where's my toolbox? Where's the wall?
Oh, let's just winch old Bridgie in.
Oh yeah, that. There now. Welcome back to the workshop. So on today's episode, well, giveaway, isn't it? We're introducing you to our latest machine. So over the years here in the workshop, you guys have seen me using, well, the year old that the channel is, you guys have seen me using a little SIP mill drill that was over in the very corner of the shop here. And while that was a sturdy little machine that worked really very, very well, we have got to the stage now in the business, on the channel and everywhere that we are, that we needed something more capable. Since I was probably in my early teens, actually, I know exactly when it was. I was a first year in secondary school, or for the Americans watching, I think you call it high school. Sorry to the UK people watching, I have no idea what you guys call it. Elementary school? No, that's Americans. Yeah, the one you go to when you're like in your teenage years. We were brought to engineering class, or given a walk around our engineering class, and in the corner of the engineering shop that I went to was this beautiful blue Series 1 Bridgeport that's set in the corner, and I always marveled at it. I don't know actually if during the whole 6 years that I was in that school I actually ever used it. Maybe once. I think we might have had a demonstration of it or used it once, but actually I can't say that I ever did. But I always walked by it and marveled it and loved the look of it, and ever since then I've literally always wanted one. Always check the classified ads here local and search for Bridgeport and see what comes up, and I don't know how many times I've actually gone and looked at them, countless number of times, and for one reason or another they were never the right machine. I don't know whether it was, you know, it was the belt drive head which I didn't want, or the knee was slack, or the slideways were damaged or not in the right condition, and maybe I didn't have the money at the time, or whatever the reason was. 100 million reasons came up and have always come up, and a Bridgeport has never been on the cards. Very luckily, it's probably about 5 weeks ago now, I was searching the classifieds and I seen this one single photograph, which I'll put up now for you guys. You can see it there. And it was of what looked to be a Series 1 Bridgeport that looked a little bit tired, but you know, it was reasonable money, and I said, you know what, I'll just give the guy a call. Gave the guy a call. He was in the west of Ireland, in a place called Mayo. A lovely, lovely chap. Turns out that I had talked to him before, years previously, about another Bridgeport that he was trying to sell. For one reason or the other, as I said, that didn't work out. Had a nice chat with him and said, I'll take a chance on it. And a couple of days went by. We paid him some money, and it was all sight unseen. I didn't travel across Ireland to go and see it. All sight unseen. And the machine was on its way being shipped to me. And everybody that I know was like, sorry, hold on, Paul, you did what? You transferred a sum of cash to a person off of a classified forum for a machine that you've one photograph of. That's never getting here. So I did start to actually believe those people after a while. But I got a phone call about 2 weeks ago now from a shipping company who said, oh, we have your milling machine for you. And I was thinking, great, and we're on our way to deliver it. Oh, great, I thought. Brilliant, just exactly what we want. And then they told me, but unfortunately, it's fallen over on the truck. It's after landing into a IBC of AdBlue. And the guy at the time, I'll never forget the conversation, was telling me how much damage this AdBlue had done. It had poured all over the truck and it was on the road. And the only things that were going through my mind was, is my Bridgeport okay? What is wrong with my Bridgeport? Is it in bits? So he seemed to think that the Bridgeport wasn't too bad. It had fallen over, but the IBC had broke its fall. He was going to bring the machine back to the main depot that the shipping company had. They were going to try and get it stood back up on a pallet and attempt, oh sorry dog, an attempt to deliver it again during the week. So I know it's terrible the Bridgeport fell over. That's, you know, look, he cares too. So yeah, anyway, a couple of days went by, got another phone call from the company, and they said that the Bridgeport was on its way out to me. Get ready, it's being delivered. So myself and my father went out, had a look, and a truck arrived, and oh, I can only tell you that the image that greeted me was really, really disheartening. My poor Bridgeport was lying on its side on a pallet, half the plastic ripped off it, and the man was kind of, you know, at a kind of loss as to whether he could even unload it off the truck, and my heart sank through the floor. I was thinking, right, that's, my Bridgeport is in bits. But myself and my father, very determined as we are, helped the man unload it, got it off, and here's a photograph of it in the yard now. And that's what it looked like, sitting in the yard, lying on its side on the pallet. You can see over there beside it my engine crane. That was me thinking that I might be able to just lift it up and put it on my trailer. So those of you that don't know where I live, I actually live on a sort of the side of a hill, and every one of our driveways, there's no flat ground anywhere. It's always going sloping some direction or another. So the mammoth task then had to take place of getting that milling machine from the yard all the way around to the front doors of my workshop, up a very, very steep hill, and in here. I don't have loads of photographs of that because I was on my own in the evening time and snow was forecast, so I was trying to do everything in my power to get it inside the door and get it out of the weather. Here's one photograph of the main pedestal and table on my little wood trailer behind old faithful Landy himself there, and you can see there it's in the pitch dark, so I'm not messing, it really was dark. We then got the milling machine, well I say me, I got the milling machine around to the front door of my workshop and in. At this stage I'd broken it into two halves, and as you've seen in the start video, I winched one half of it in here into the engine shop and then was able to use my engine crane and some levels of ingenuity to try and get the other half, the head of it, in and up here. So why don't we take a look at old Bridgie and see what it is that I managed to get. So that's our little Bridgeport. As you can see, it's in pretty good nick. Most of the bits survived the fall. Some of the kind of structural bits that got, or some of the componentry bits I should say, that got broke off. There should be a fine adjustment handle on here. That not working. I have repaired, well, I've started repairing the automatic quill feed, so we've got a nut welded on here. We just wait for the fine adjustment wheel to come, and then we can figure out how long to cut this off and put the button on there. These control levers, both of these, one puts the power quill feed in gear and the other sets the 3 possible speeds for the power quill feed. They have been damaged. I think they got rammed home too far or something, and they're not moving, so I'm going to have to very carefully take these apart and get these freed out and moving. You can see there's a kind of a bodged up setup going on here. I just wanted to get something on the machine so that I could check the quill to make sure that it was actually working, or not, as the case may have been. What we did there was, if we unlock that now, you can see, so the quill is moving. The handle would have got smashed off. That is the actual handle, but the whole arrangement was smashed here. I have an idea anyway for putting a steering wheel off a race car on here, because I reckon that'll be a better system anyway than the handle, so that's a modification that we'll do down the road. Other bits and pieces that got damaged, you can see we got a good old scratch going through the top of the box here, the corners are broken off of this plate here where the fine speed adjustment is on it. So they got kind of badly damaged. Down here, there would have been a control box. You can just see the remnants of the control box here. That box was completely smashed. The switches were all broken in it, everything. That would have been how you switched on the machine, how you switched on the coolant, gave power to the power feeds, stuff like that. The X-axis, what you would call the lead screw, the X-axis lead screw, unfortunately did take a bang, and if I give it a bit of a turn from this side, you can see it wobbling around there. Also, you'll notice that the bearing housing that should be there to mount that is gone. That got broke off as well. And then the final thing, or the final kind of major thing that got damaged, was there was a power box on here that dealt with all the three-phase power control. That was completely smashed off the machine during the fall. Luckily, as you've seen from the video, we have it converted already to run on a inverter, a VFD drive. So the motor is up and running and runs really nice and sweetly. Could probably do with a little bit of an oiling and a cleaning out, but that's okay. Get the inverter working, so I'm delighted that that is. The spindle is nice and true. The head has an adjustment screw inside it that allows you to tilt the head at different angles. There's a gear inside the head that allows that to happen, and it looks like the teeth are stripped off that. So if I was to loosen these 4 bolts, the head would slip. So very careful there. At some stage in the future, what we're going to have to do is actually take the head completely off the machine and replace the gear in there so that we can get the head actually angling properly. Luckily, the one that angles the head this way, so this milling machine also can nod the head, so the head can actually tilt forward. That's working perfectly. I checked that. That's good. The bed of the milling machine is absolutely mint condition. There is literally no dents or scratches or lumps missing out of the bed, so I'm really, really happy with that. All of the ways, when I rub the oil and grease off the ways, I can clearly see all of the marks that were put there by the scraping. If anybody ever wants to look into this, milling machines and old machine tools like this had all their ways scraped smooth and flat. And those scrape marks, basically, if the machine has a lot of wear on it, those scrape marks get rubbed off and you end up with just smooth, flat cast iron. All of the ways still show their scrape marks. So that means that this machine, the ways have done very little hours. All of the gibs are actually at their minimum adjustment. I checked all the gibs, they're at their minimum adjustment. So that means there's been very little adjustment to the gibs. So hopefully, again, meaning that there isn't a lot of wear. One fairly big problem with the machine at the moment is it has what's called a sliding ram. And I'm going to get Billy to come around this side and I'll go the other side. And this will make a bit more sense. So if I stand this side, this whole ram here can slide backwards and forwards. Grease gun's attacking me. This whole ram can actually slide backwards and forwards, allowing you to change the position of the milling head in relation to this bed here. Unfortunately, the dovetails there where that ram is fitted are seized. So when I loosen off these 2 bolts here, I should be able to turn this guy here and roll the ram backwards or forward, but it is completely seized. Now, I've been on the forums, and that, believe it or not, is actually quite a common problem on Bridgeports. I put a hydraulic jack between the head of the Bridgeport and here, and I've got about 1 inch of movement, so it looks promising that we can unfree the ramway, but it is going to be probably quite an involved task. It's going to limit how much I can use this machine until I get that ram fixed, because if you kind of look here, I have traveled the bed all the way out here and I can barely reach the back jaw of the vise. So the center line of the quill and the center line of the back of the vise with the bed all the way out, I can only barely get there. So I'm going to need to get this ramway moving over the Christmas period, get that sliding back and forward so that I can get full use out of the machine. But we're getting there. We have a Bridgeport, it's in the workshop, and 90% of the functionality of it works. We've already started acquiring components. So yes, the side of the machine, I said the handle here for operating the crosslight is gone. Rather than going and buying a new handle and doing that, I decided to invest, and what I've got for the machine is a power feed. So this is just one of the Chinesian ones off of, you know, the internet. But they're very good. By all means, the reports back that I've heard about these is they are really good pieces of kit, and for the money and for what they cost, they're actually pretty good. So they come with all the hardware to mount them on, and what that then will give us is it'll give us an electric power feed on the crosslight, which is what we're going to need when we start skimming cylinder heads, when we use this machine to do any kind of surfacing or flattening of parts. We will need a power feed. So we're going to have that in this machine, or we're going to have that by doing this. I am going to have to make a part for it. I'm going to have to make a small stub shaft to come off of here. I reckon this machine probably had a power feed on it before that somebody pilfered off it and sold separately, because it has the X-axis lead screw is the one designed for that. So yeah, we're going to have to put make a small stub shaft to come off of that to go through the power feed and to allow us to get another hand wheel on this side. So I've ordered another hand wheel, that's on its way. I've ordered another fine feed wheel, and as I said, I think we're going to make some kind of a fancy boss, something like the way this is designed here, that will slide on there and allow us have a steering wheel. I have a couple of old mini steering wheels that I reckon will fit really well on there, maybe one of the old Busman steering wheels or something like that, so that we can use that to feed the quill wheel when we're doing drilling and stuff like that, rather than a handle. I've seen a couple of people modify their Bridgeports to have a wheel on here, and you know, since we are the mini workshop in Ireland, why not a mini steering wheel on there? It'll take a bit of doing to modify a wheel to go on there, but maybe we'll make a video. If you're interested in that, put a comment in the comment section below what you'd like to see done on the machine. If you'd like me to document some of the restoration and fixing of this, we can make videos of that and we can put it there. So put it in the comment section below. That said, if you're new to the channel, you are most welcome. Thank you for coming along. Hope you enjoyed the videos. It's not all about old iron. Well, it is, but it's not always a Bridgeport. It's generally a Mini or some other kind of a classic car. We're always doing fabrication here in the shop, making things and doing stuff. A big hello, by the way, to one of our subscribers and viewers who came and bought my old milling machine. He was very surprised when he opened the door of my workshop to buy the milling machine and realized that he was looking at a famous top-class YouTuber. Can't even say that with a straight face. No, he had a good laugh, and it was lovely to meet the two guys. So thank you very much for coming up, and I hope you have great success with my old milling machine and it looks after you well. As I said, if you're new to the channel, hit a subscribe, come along, hang out here with us in the workshop. We have good fun. We do all kinds of machining, we do all kinds of welding, drilling, building engines, getting cars going, and having a bit of crack here in the shop. For my regular viewers, thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's a bit of a departure from other stuff that we do, but you know, I just wanted to show off my Bridgeport and let people see, you know, as our shop comes along. My plan, as I said, going forward is to document everything we do here and bring you guys along with us. So here we are, we now have a Bridgeport. I'm so excited, and I can't wait until we start making our own components here in the shop and you guys get to see what an old machine like this can actually really do. It's gonna open up a world of stuff to us, so I'm looking forward to all the videos we can make on that. There's nothing much more for me to say other than welcome to the Bridgeport. If anybody can think of a name for it, well, we're always open and interested in it. The channel named the Land Rover Andy, so it's time that Bridgie here gets named. So in the comment section below, what are we going to call the Bridgeport? Thank you all guys for watching. See you guys on the next one.